All right, guys. Do Chinese people hate NIO's CEO? First, we gotta talk about and let you guys know how important William Li is. All right. First of all, he's extremely humble. Instead of taking private jets from Shanghai to Beijing, because he lives in Beijing, here in Beijing, but NIO's headquarters are in Shanghai, he takes the high-speed rail to save money. Instead of buying a lavish home in Shanghai, he rents a small apartment in Shanghai. He is a very humble, down-to-earth guy, and he meets up with a lot of NIO owners, and NIO owners just love him, right? We all love him. He's a great dude, and he is very consistent and focused on his vision, all right? And you got to understand, in terms of financial savviness, this guy is 10 tiers above everybody else. He was able to convince the CEO of JD.com, Liu Qiangdong, to invest in NIO before, like as a founding investor, in 15 minutes. He was able to convince the CEO of Xiaomi, Lei Jun, just by having dinner. When NIO was struggling the most in 2019, was near the brink, who was it that saved NIO? It was, of course, William Li. He helped convince the Anhui province, the Hefei to city of Hefei, and the government to structure that package and do that kind of asset swap. Form NIO China, and then NIO Inc. holds 90% of NIO China. I mean, like, nobody would be able to do this kind of stuff if it wasn't for William Li. If it wasn't for William Li, NIO would not exist today. And numerous times, all right? So when I see you guys say, fire the CEO, you guys do not know how important he is, all right? William Li is NIO. NIO is William Li, all right? There's no such thing as fire the CEO. Don't ever say that. His financial savviness and his ability, I mean, like, this guy, he's going to be able to find investor under a rock. If he needs money, he's going to be able to get money somewhere. Some investor under a rock or under a tree or somewhere, he's going to be able to get that money. So with that said, this is also why I am not worried about NIO going bankrupt. We might run out of money, right? NIO might run out of money from overspending. And this is why they're not worried about overspending, building a ton of swap stations, building all these new houses. They're building new houses like crazy, expanding to all different countries, swap stations like crazy, and just R&D like crazy. They might run out of money, but they're not going to go bankrupt. Not financial advice, all right? But why do I not think NIO is going to go bankrupt? Because William Li is going to be able to get money somewhere, somehow. And that is how important he is. And together, him and Chin Li Hong, they're like 10 steps ahead of other guys just in terms of what they plan and what they got going. Now, having that said, NIO owners, we wouldn't buy the car if we didn't respect him. We wouldn't buy the car if we didn't like this guy. But having that said, he is a little bit stubborn, all right? For example, he would choose to forego sales, sacrifice sales number in order to stay consistent, right? No single motor variant, no non-LiDAR variant, no rear screens. Any one of these would help boost NIO's sales number significantly. And if NIO had a traditional auto person up in higher management next to him, advising him probably, you would see that he would recommend these things and would see better results. And I think that is one of the missing pieces in this puzzle, and that is the fact that, and this is not just me saying this is also a lot of other NIO employees, other NIO staff, other NIO owners saying this as well. And it's that NIO doesn't have a traditional experienced auto executive up at the top of the food chain to advise and to make things better, all right, in that sense. And not exactly replace the CEO, because don't replace the CEO, that would be very bad, but to advise him, all right? So that is one link, one chain of the link that's really missing. And I hope they do add that executive up there. But the other thing that is really interesting is with how focused he is, he can come off as stubborn, like I said, but also offensive. He can come off as offensive. Now, he said several things in the past which were not, aimed at pissing people off, but did eventually end up pissing people off. So some of the things he said, for example, back when NIO formed the joint factory with JAC, even a lot of internal NIO employees were struggling with the fact that why would NIO work with JAC? JAC makes trucks. Why is that? And they were struggling to wrap their head around that. So William Li held that internal conference, and he came out with the famous statement that NIO and JAC's joint factory, built by JAC, is more technologically advanced than Porsche's factory in Europe. And he said that, and he got a standing ovation, lots of applauses, and that is in essence true, right? In essence true. And like NIO does use a lot of robots and all these automation, which is of course better than manual labor. But that clip got shared online, and it really came off the wrong way, and people just could not stop hating on this guy. And it's more to do with how they just took one section of the clip and say, our factory is much better than Porsche's factory. Boom, end of the clip. And that came off as really offensive to a lot of people. That was strike number one. And then some of the other stuff, and he does kind of manage to piss people off every year. The other stuff he said was once after NIO Day, he talked about why would anybody still buy a gasoline car? And this was obviously directed at a lot of NIO owners. He was saying, why would anybody still buy a gasoline car unless you really savor the smell of gasoline and you like that smell? You wouldn't buy a Land Rover or a gasoline car. I mean, EVs are the way to go. And this also came off as very offensive, and a lot of people just could not stop bashing him because a lot of people still drive gasoline cars here in China, and they took that the wrong way, right? They do not like the smell of gasoline. So yeah, people were pissed, and I've made a video about this way back. Again, people took offense to it, unfortunately. And some of the other stuff that he said, when people asked him about comparing NIO with Tesla, he would say, and he said this in a clip, he said, whatever Tesla has, we have it, and we do it better than Tesla. And he said it in a way that really, was pretty like taking jab at people that supported Tesla or something like that. And of course, that came off the wrong way as well. And people just, yeah, people did not take that nicely. And there's lots of, every time there's some clips of him online, you can see a lot of the comments, and some people, unfortunately, and this is unfortunately the truth as well. Some people hate NIO because they hate him, and that's what they say in the comments. And it is unfortunate that these guys these commenters are thinking that way. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about how difficult it is to start a EV company or any sort of automobile company, it's very difficult. And they're not giving the guy the respect that he deserves. And my message to you guys is please respect this dude, all right? He is, in all essence, NIO. NIO is him, he is NIO, all right? And keep in mind that money is of no concern to this guy. He's able to get money just basically from anywhere. Government, whether it's government or private investors or somewhere, or make some sort of magical deal. He's going to be able to get money somewhere. And I absolutely do not worry about NIO going bankrupt. We might get close to the edge, and I've said this numerous times, we might get close to the edge, but I do not think we'll be pushed over, all right? What do you guys think of William Li as a CEO? Do you guys like him? I certainly love him. He is the man for the job. I could not think of a better guy as the CEO of this company. But do let me know in the comments down below. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.